And now I'm proud to present the Reverend Barbara Peronteau.
Hi, my name is Barbara Peronteau, and I am the pastor at First Congregational Church of San Rafael. We are an open and affirming congregation of the United Church of Christ. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. Frankly, I would like nothing better to do than to go stealth, as we say, to live as a trans woman, and nobody would know that I'm a trans woman, and just live under the radar, to be a wallflower on the human wall of life. But the thing is that here's how my mornings begin, and why I can't go stealth, as we say. In the mornings, I get up, I get my coffee, I find where I put my laptop, I open it up, I look at the sports, I see how the Pirates and the Giants are doing, and then I check the weather and to see what I might be wearing. The morning is a little better or different than the afternoon, but am I wearing sleeveless, or am I wearing my rain jacket, or what am I wearing today? And then I check my news feed, but lately these are some of the things that I've been waking up to. These are some of the headlines. Missouri bans gender-affirming care for minors, some adults, prohibits trans girls from competing in female sports. Kansas passes anti-trans bill. Florida lawmakers pass bill banning transgender people from using bathrooms not matching birth sex. Human Rights Campaign declares a national state of emergency for LGBTQ people. That is a national state of emergency. It is not just for Florida or Texas or Montana or North Carolina. It is a national state of emergency throughout all of America for LGBTQ state. We are in a crisis situation. And that's just four of the headlines, because I could go on, but I'm on the clock here. Okay, so as of June 6th, 2023, the Human Rights Campaign said that there are 525 anti-LGBTQIA plus bills. And I want to just stop there a minute. LGBTQIA plus, even in our own community, we will say LGBTQ, XYZ, kind of roll our eyes. I want to point out that behind every one of those letters, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, asexual, or ally, and plus, because our identities keep going. Behind every one of those letters is someone who is struggling to be who they are. Behind every one of those letters is someone who is celebrating who they are. There are parents, there are children, there are spouses, there are families struggling to figure out and to catch up to where their loved one is, as they have just come out of their closet that they've been in for how many years, and said, I am lesbian, I am gay, I am bi, I am trans, I am queer. So that's I want us to understand that there's behind every one of those letters, there is someone, a person. So let us be respectful of those letters, because they point to someone. And so back to this, the HRC has said there are 525 anti-LGBTQIA plus bills in 41 states. There are 220 of those bills are anti-trans bills attacking children what kind of society do we live in that attacks their children, criminalizes their parents, and criminalizes their healthcare professionals? Healthcare professionals in Texas are closing up shop and they are moving elsewhere, as well as families moving elsewhere. So 76 of these laws have already become law as of June 6th. This is twice as many as were passed last year, and it's only the first 5 months. What they're trying to do is erase us. It is nothing short of genocide, and they are creating a refugee crisis as people are moving from the state that they were born in, they lived in, they used to love, and now they have to find safety in another state, in the United States of America. I am banned in 27 states in the United States of America. I can't go to 27 of those states. There are places in California where I do not feel safe. And here's a warning, California, we are always one election away from becoming Florida. Yes, California, one election away. So stay woke, my friends, and vote. Because there's a huge honking elephant in the room. It is big, it is ugly, it is nasty, it is mean, and it is sucking all the air out of the room. The anti-trans actions these fascist state regimes are taking are based on a narrative that doesn't sound anything like my story. The narrative of my journey is very, very different from the lies and what the conservatives are telling you. That is not my story. You won't get my story on social media and the national media. I could stand up here and do Bible. I could stand up here and do politics, but instead I want to tell you who we are, why we are, and who I am using my story, and why DeSantis bans books and censors what comes out of our mouths. While each of us who are transgender are different in many and various ways, we share a lot of similarities. So I want to use my story as a springboard to tell our truth. First of all, and contrary to what they want to have you believe, I am not an atheist. I am not a pedophile. I don't want to go to the bathroom and molest anyone. And I want to know who is protecting me in the bathroom. Where are my protections? I want to state where I have protections. I simply go to the bathroom to do the usual and to fix my makeup. And so I want to share with you my story, my truth, my narrative. I was born in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. It is the home of Arnold Palmer, Fred Rogers, as in Mr. Rogers. It is the home of Rolling Rock beer and the Banana Split. And of course, and by the way, what else goes better with a banana split than a good Rolling Rock? Well, anyway, as it turns out, I was born in a place I never lived. My faith journey begins. Yes, trans women have faith journeys. Is that I was baptized in the Lutheran Church, the Lutheran Church of America, the LCA at the time, and I was raised in the Lutheran Calvinist tradition. Although I'm pretty sure that John Calvin did not have me in mind when he said that we would be transformed by the gospel. My journey begins as a trans woman. In the month after I turned 5, it was our kindergarten Christmas party, most likely December 18th, 1959, at the Richland Township building in Gibsonia, just north of Pittsburgh, just off of Route 8, coming out of Pittsburgh. It was a dark and stormy night, Mom had me dressed in in these desert boots that would not bend at the toes, and brown corduroy pants that would not bend at the knees. Mom used to starch everything back then, and so I was wearing this a white starched shirt that would not bend at the elbows, and a soft red sweater vest that I thought was very, very nice. I was standing at the wine and cheese table, which for 5-year-olds consists of Christmas cookies and Hawaiian punch mixed with ginger ale with some orange slices on top. So there stood my 5-year-old self with a cookie in the one hand and a cup of red punch in the other, and the door opened. I could see outside. The streetlights had come on. The wind was blowing, the rain was coming down sideways, and the leaves were dancing all over the place. And when the door closed, there stood Beth and her mom. I could see Beth standing there, and in between her mom's legs, and her mom's, as a 5-year-old, her mom's knees were like eye level. I could see there's her mom's knees, and then there's Beth standing in front of me. Beth was wearing one of those 1950s chalky blue color coat with slightly darker blue faux around the hem and around the hood and around the sleeves. And Beth's mom bent down over top of her and pulled the hood off and unbuttoned the coat from above, unbuttoned the coat, and then slid the coat off. And there stood Beth. She was wearing white patent leather shoes, which I'm pretty sure her shoes did not bend at the toes either. White anklet socks with ruffles, a white chiffon dress embellished with embroidered eyelets. She has this gossamer blonde hair, and her eyes were as blue as a bright blue California day. And it was right then and there that I wanted to be Beth, only me. I want to put that time in perspective. The year, as I said, was 1959. Dwight D. Eisenhower was the president. The interstate system had only just begun, let alone there being an internet system where you could get information. I had never heard of Christine Jorgensen or Lily Elba. Besides, I was only 5 years old. I didn't know how to read yet. And no one had said a word to me about transgender. The word transgender wasn't even invented yet. No one had groomed me, and yet there I was. I knew at the age of 5 years old. And every night for the next 50 years, I would pray to God, please, when I wake up, let me be female. Early on, as a youngster, 5, 6, 7-year-old, my prayers would be something like, God, wave your magic wand, send your minions of angels upon me. Blink, whatever it is that you do to be God, please do that so that when I wake up in the morning, I will be female. There was something about the night that was heavily laden with expectation and hope. When I began to emerge, so transition, it's not so much that I transitioned, that's a common word that we use. But for me, my experience was I began to emerge and become. So when I began to emerge and become the beautiful, charming, and lovely self that I am about 15 years ago, there was a trans girl in Ohio. She was about 10 or 12 years old at the time, and she was my new hero that day and still remains my hero to this very day. She had just come out to her family, and her story was all over the papers. Her grandfather didn't think that she was old enough to make such a decision. Obviously, her grandfather didn't understand. So I want you to understand what I'm about to tell you. Our gender identity has nothing to do with our biology and what body parts we were born with. As we say, our sex assigned at birth. Our sex assigned at birth is one thing, our gender identity is another thing. Our gender identity has nothing to do with our chromosome, what chromosomes we have. So stop with the chromosome thing. That's not why we're trans. Our gender identity has nothing to do with our DNA or what genes we might have inherited from our mom and dad. Our gender identity is not a result of taking hormone replacement therapy. And by the way, it's hormone replacement therapy. It is not growth hormones. It is not performance enhancing hormones. We are replacing one set for another set. We're already transgender before we even start hormone replacement therapy. And we don't have to start hormone therapy if we don't want to. It's just a tool in a toolbox. So our gender identity also has nothing for who our sexual orientation is or who we love. Our gender identity is formed and developed in utero and is buried deep inside our brains, deep within the hypothalamus. It's who we are, that no matter who you are or where you are on life's journey, each of us has a gender identity that has nothing to do with your biological body parts or to whom we are attracted to. The discovery of our sexual orientation is yet another exciting journey that we get to go on. As Jennifer Finney Boylan said in her book, She's Not There, who we are is between our ears. Our gender identity is about who we want to go to bed as. Our sexual orientation is who we want to go to bed with. Simply, we are born transgender. Transgender is an adjective. It describes who we are, as in the sky is blue, or the tree is large, or something. It is an adjective. We are not transgendered. That's not a word. Don't make it a word, because nothing happened to us. Nothing went wrong in utero. Something different went wrong, but different isn't, I mean, something different happened, but different isn't wrong. It's simply different. We are not transgendered, nor are we transgenders. That's not even a word either. Don't use that. Yeah. So we are born trans. Lady Gaga got it right. The rest of us can get it right too. The thing is that we discover that we are transgender. We do not decide we are transgender. We discover, we find out that we are transgender, whatever that is. There is male, there is female, and there is everything in between. As John Calvin once said, to know oneself is to know God. And so we discover at a very early age, somewhere maybe between 2 and 6, usually between that 3 and 5-year-old window, that our gender identity is different from our sex assigned at birth. There is at this early age what is called the age of awareness. It's about childhood development, and we enter into this age of awareness about that 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old window of our development, and it's in that time that we discover we would rather have chocolate ice cream than liver and onions. We discover that we can now tell that the bath water is too hot or too cold, and we're vocal about it. We want that Goldilocks zone, and we tell people about it. And also, this is the age in which we discover our gender identity, and that our gender identity might be quite different from our sex assigned. So let me ask you, did you get to decide who your parents are or where you were born? Perhaps you were born in a town you never lived, or in the back seat of a Greyhound bus rolling down Highway 41. Did you get to decide which is your dominant hand? Did you get to decide the color of your skin? Did you get to decide the color of your eyes? Did you get to decide the color of your hair? Oh, wait, yeah, we do. But neither do we get to decide our gender. It is a gift. It is one of the many ways in which God knit and wove us together into the beautiful tapestry that we are, each of us is, in which we are wondrously made by our Creator. My own journey felt like a double exposure that would never come together. So here's me and here's my gender identity, and they will never come together. So the journey then for the trans person is to lose the shame and become who you are. We align our body with our gender identity. For each of us, it's a different journey. It could be simply a change of clothes, a different hairstyle. It could mean cosmetics. It could mean various surgeries. However, no, surgeries are not done to young children. Don't let them lie to you. Surgeries do not equal transgender. We are already trans, with or without surgeries, with or without hormone replacement therapy. We are trans. Now, what are we going to do with it? We do what we need to do to align our bodies with our gender identity. Remember, our gender identity is buried deep inside our brain. We cannot change who we are. We can change what we put on our body, and we can change our bodies to that so that they can come in line with our gender identity. Almost 50 years to the day when I first saw Beth, I came down the stairs to make the morning coffee, and all I want was coffee. What I got instead was a conversation with God. God was sort of sitting over here. I walk in the kitchen, and God's over here in the corner in the chair where the table was, and sitting over here. And I want to go over here and get the coffee, but except that God's sitting in the chair and filling the whole room up. And what I heard was, I know who you are. I made you this way. I don't know who you're trying to fool. I already know who you are. And God says to me, I already love you. You are made whole by grace through faith. You do not have to earn my love by being someone you're not. You already have my love. And by the way, you are already female. Now the ball is in your court. What are you going to do about it? Stop trying to be someone you're not so that other people can be happy. You be you. And so my journey got a jump start that day, because there comes a time when we can no longer put one foot in front of the other without becoming and being and emerging into the person that we are. And so my journey got a jump start that day. A few months later, I read something that I had never paid much attention to, and I cried the first time I read this. It's Isaiah 56, 3b to 6. The people at the Revised Common Lectionary have carved this out. It's actually coming up in August, but you're not going to get 56, 3b to 6. This is God speaking now, and God says in Isaiah, and do not let the eunuch say, I am just a dry tree. For thus says Yahweh, to the eunuchs who keep my Sabbaths, who choose the things that please me and hold fast to my covenant, I will give in my house and within my walls a monument and a name better than sons and daughters. I will give them an everlasting name that shall not be cut off. Why would anyone want to erase my name off of God's monument? I don't know. Do not let them. We are all children of God. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Barbara, very much. And thanks for coming and joining with us today. We really do appreciate it. Have a happy Pride Sunday. Thanks again. Bye-bye.